We are Informatica University partner for Asia Pacific. Today we are going to speak about the Big Data Integration course. Part of this program, this is a prerequisite that is being expected that if in your organization you're working in an organization, so is expecting that you should be audience to ETL or you should be an ETL developers who are moving to Informatica into the Hadoop environment. Typically, it is all about Hadoop developers who want to again come back to the ETL side of it. It is a very good course for the people who are into architects or project managers or teams within their organization. Before you take any of this course on Informatica Big Data Management, you expect that you should have knowledge of Informatica Developer. So that will be the tool which will be largely used for this course. So we'll be using Informatica Developer as our course, as our tool. So this will be the tool which will be required for the course to learn. So this will be the tool for required for the course. That's why we recommend you that we should do Introduction to the Developer course. It's a one-day course which we do through Informatica, and plus it will be recommended that you should have some ETL experiences and a basic course. So that's the recommended ones. Recently, last week we conducted this course onto the big data basics, and that's one of the reasons after completing that prerequisite course. Today we are doing a course on big data management using Informatica. So we will be largely focusing on to a tool called Informatica Developer tool to work on to with us. So if I talk about a quick introduction, that if you look at Informatica as a so if we look Info as a organization, Informatica has two famous products in this industry. So there are two tools which are very famous tools in Informatica. So one is known as PowerCenter. First tool into the industry for ETL purposes. So we have tool on so all extra low kind of a stuff is done through PowerCenter. So the PC stands for PowerCenter. It's a 4-decade-old product which is quite stable product into the industry, and another product which is so this is a smaller list. So this is another client tool which is available to us. That is what we call as developer tool. This tool is basically used for the data quality purpose. These two are they are not the only tools, but they are the two important tools as far as Informatica is concerned. So for Informatica, we gave you the PowerCenter, and then Informatica we gave you another tool called Developer tool, just for data quality purpose. And we have set up other tools, but these two tools are basically the tools which you can call it as a graphical user interface tool. So they basically are the GUI tools to start with. So these are the two GUI tools, and first we have other tools available into the market. There our focus will be on to that these two tools and Informatica works with the Hadoop. So that's our idea, that how we will be looking at that from the Hadoop perspective. Idea that Informatica and Hadoop works with these parts. So these are the two tools which will be expected to speak to Hadoop. So that's an idea. And a first session, and day after tomorrow session, so we have two more sessions where we are going to introduce these two tools to you also. So the plan. So, but we are starting with one of the most technology now, because everybody talks about Hadoop. So let us look at that how Informatica tools or the PowerCenter and developers behaves with Hadoop. So the one. So that's the larger focus will be onto a tool called a developer tool. So that will be a major tool. Maybe even as a offering from Informatica, we offer you a course on PowerCenter, which is a level 1 developer course, which is a 4 years. And if you do this course with us, we will be in a position to make you understand the PowerCenter client. One of the it course or one of the most selling course from Informatica University from our side, where we will talk about basic skills for Informatica PowerCenter, integration with your projects, core features of the product. We'll talk about how to build mapping, manage the workflows, and how to design mappings, and how to troubleshoot the mappings and transformations. So we have a separate course on PowerCenter, what we call a PowerCenter level 1 developer, which is of course. And so you one course on data quality, again a 4 days course Informatica onto the developer side, where you can be able to design data qualities, information like profiling, cleaning, standardizing, deduplicating, and consolidating the data. Our all courses have intensive hands-on labs. The case study specially designed based on to the industry requirements. So such courses can be done. And tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will have an introduction course on PowerCenter and duality to give you a idea how does an analyst and data stewards and developers work in synchronization for data quality side. For this, we have a course what we are going to cover, big management course with 4 days. But beside this, we also offer to you a course on B2B. We'll discuss about the requirement of B2B and business to business. We can also do a 4 days course where we will be in good position to help you with the structured and unstructured data. So the best practice for complex data like parsing, serialization, and mapping task in details can be taught to you using the B2B data transformation developer course. So these are the courses which taken along with the course onto the big data management course. Our big data management course is a 3 days course, and this course covers all aspects of Informatica big data management. Which a partial part of the big data management course is the one which we are going to share with you very soon, that how we can understand how Informatica behaves with that's what we are going to start with is that is Informatica big data management architecture. So that how does Informatica is in the capacity to speak to Informatica not architecture. So that's the one we are going to start with. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving a quick pause over here. Any questions here, please? So if you have any questions, you can quickly send across to me over the chat, please. So we'll start with the big data management architecture. Now we're going to speak on the audio. Oh, thank you very much, Anilan, for confirming it. So we'll start with the part of Informatica big data architecture. So that's how does it look like. So on this particular part, what we're going to do is we are going to explain the big data world. We will explain the of building once, deploy anywhere, and we'll talk about Informatica abstraction layer. We'll speak about the smart executor part, and we will definitely support the open sources through innovations. I requested that Bangalore team to give us 2 minutes. So Bangalore team will may request. Okay. So that team has some suggestion for me. So Bangalore team get disconnect. Bangalore has some issues, so just give me a second for Bangalore team to get settled down, please. So, welcome back, please. There was an issue with Bangalore team. I hope the issue is solved. So, today we are going to explain the big data world, and we are going to explain the concept of building risk deployment anywhere, what we call it as our Informatica product computing engines. We are going to define the smart executor for you, and we're going to describe the connection to the third-party applications on Hadoop. So, that's a few areas which we are going to turn in this particular session. A good one to start with, explain the big data world where we. So what we found here was something very, very interesting. So this slide depicts a very, very interesting information for us. That there are too many technologies and how to learn them all. So if you look at this particular slide, my idea is to bring to notice that this is one I like this slide. So you have got different execution engines. Sure. Shall I use Spark? Shall I use MapReduce? Shall I use Spark Streaming? Use Take? Shall I use Take? So I don't know. What should I learn? The other part over here, there are different types of data formats like you got ORC, you got sequential files, some types of data formats are available to us. That shows about the data formats. So what should I learn? Sometimes the various types of compressions, like we got a gunzip, Azure, Snappy, different types of NoSQL databases, like MongoDB, we got HBase, we got looked into the NoSQL database. And plus we got different distributions like Cloudera, hardware distributions, so we got Mapr, and too many technologies and how to learn them all. One point is to learning them all, the another point will be definitely learning that the other thing is that which one should I select so the future for us. So that's a big data world. We have two technologies for to learn them all. So with my money, should I put money on Page? Should I put my money on Spark? Should my money on MapReduce? That's a big data world. It's actually very, very big world. Two technologies are there. So what we offer you at Informatica is here that you can pick once and deploy anywhere. So that's what the Informatica Big Data Management Edition talks about. So build once, run anywhere. So build for data, not for technology. So that's what we say. So don't worry about technology. From on to writing a logic, don't worry about integration, and we are going to extract a streamlined data flow for you. So that's basically like a big data management. So your data is lying into RDBMS, NoSQL, various storage layers like HDFS or other models. You got different execution engines like Page, or you got different execution engines like Hive on Spark or Hive on MapReduce. Be good position that we will be, or whatever distribution it is. So it's a Cloudera distribution, or it's a Mapr, or whether it's IBM Big Insight, or a Hortonworks, the security and whatever different types of data formats, question you have. This is the one place that is Informatica Big Data Management Edition, and it will be our responsibility to make it with the sources available into the industry. So that's how it looks like into the build once and deploy anywhere kind of stuff. And so if the technology change, let Informatica take for that particular part. So just give me a second, please. Here, so I got a request from Bangalore. Just let me quickly connect to the Bangalore, please. If you have any question, may I request you to just chat that question to answer it. Bangalore team is discussing an issue.
Welcome to Marketing Conferencing Service. Your PIN code followed the hash key.
Our Bangalore team is with me now. So I'm back over here. So, still no questions. I was expecting some questions. Yes, please. We are continuing over here. So, now let the Bangalore team to just be on a mute so that you should not disturb the session in between. Okay. So we are here back over here. So we were talking about the Informatica Big Data Management over here. So idea was that you built it once and you can use onto the mapping. So you're not banging into a wrong technology. So if tomorrow technology changes, let Informatica take care of that technology, or rather than you worrying about which is the right technology to put me on. It's a lovely part of our engine. So what we do over here is that all this logic will be into the mappings. That's what we showed at. You are expected to create a mapping. And this mapping is a solution to what we call Informatica Big Data Management. And in turn, what we are going to offer you over here is something very, very interesting, is that we give you a polyglot computing. That's a wonderful technology which Informatica is banging on, polyglot. So polyglot computing talks about that with environments we run this mapping, we are to offer you the same results. So whether you run it on Informatica native environment, or you run an SQL pushdown, or you would like to run this mapping onto Hadoop. So the polyglot computing which offers you the same results. So whether this mapping is run on any of the environment. So you only worry about writing your mappings and let the Informatica management take care of the solutions, whether you are running on whichever part of it. So if I take you a couple of slides quickly back. So talking about something of very big data world. This big data world, what we are looking for, that you bring us in any of these formats. Mapping will remain a fixed mapping, so you can see that FEFS, or you got some relational, or you got some legacy data, you got NoSQL data, you got different execution engines, different types of compression formats, or you got different types of data formats. As you just have to create a mapping. So mapping is a business logic. Informatica Big Data Management will take care of the push, and Hadoop then can be taken care of it. Native run to the native engines, or running onto the database, that is SQL push down, taken into consideration. It's going to work for us. So we also here is something very, very interesting, what we call as a polyglot computer, that is Smart Executor. So we got Informatica Smart Executor, which is available. As a Informatica Big Data Management tool, you don't have to worry about various tools to write the various MapReduce programs for it. We give you massive data connectivity to different types of sources. We give you data quality support for deduplicating the data standardization, algorithms, consolidation algorithms. Data masking tools, we offer you data governance tools. And Smart Executor, and using the Smart Executor, you can run same mapping on Informatica native engines, or you can run it on database pushdown using SQL. Use it on Hadoop. So same mapping is designed to be run onto the Hadoop cluster also. So you don't need to do something very, very special about it. It's the same mapping. It's run in various formats, what we call as a pilot computing. So it's the same mapping which can be run on various. So same code can be pushed onto the database. Same can be done onto the Informatica native engine, and same can be done onto the. The next slide is very interesting. So we also give you something very, very interesting on big data management side of it. But we only support high-end map reduce, but introduction of YARN, that is MRV2, map reduce version 2 and the YARN component. We can run a high-one map reduce, we can run high-one page, we run a high-one Spark. Spark core engine to convert your entire mapping into Spark. We also offer you one of the very electrifying new technology from Informatica, that's what we call Blaze. So Informatica Blaze, what we give you here, it's a Informatica engine on the top of the YARN. So we're going to have our own on the top of YARN, that is Informatica Blaze. And your entire mapping can be converted by Blaze engine into the using Informatica engine, and that is what we claim to be the fastest among all of them. But we can convert it into the Spark code, so we can convert it into equivalent Spark. Yeah, high-one Spark, it could be high-one page, or it could be high-one reduce. So you have these federation using a smart executor. Yeah. How the polyglot computing works for big data management. In the Hadoop architecture, so this can be seen over here. So we got Informatica two services, the two services which are available to us. So in this particular Informatica is basically what we are looking from the perspective of developer client. So how the developer client looks like. So work with Informatica developer client, you must be having an idea. Two services over here, that is a simple service and DIS. So that model repository service and data integration services, which is running onto the platform. What we're going to do is over here is we are going to use BDM, that is a big data management. We're going to put it onto the various nodes. So there'll be a small installation from Informatica BDM, which will go onto your cluster. There'll be Hive driver sitting on DIS, which will be communicating with the Hadoop cluster over here. So that looks like, so we can speak to Hadoop cluster. So developer client has a capacity to speak to the Hadoop cluster. That's what is largely. So we have built the larger capability with the developer client to this particular job. PowerCenter has a very limited capacity as of today. And the larger capacity is built onto the developer client for mapping onto the Hadoop environment. So that's how it looks like. That is why model repository service and data integration service are there, and we push a small portion of BDM, that's a big data management tools, onto each data node to carry out the job. Good. A good time to take a pause over here. Any questions here, please? So I have a question over here that I can understand Informatica can be used as a data integration layer in a big data architecture, but then how the big data integration different from big data technology as compared to putting into some RDBMS DB? Krishna, your question will be answered in a couple of few slides, which I'm going to take next. So we're going to speak about that data integration layer, and that's how we are going to work about it. So maybe a few slides are going to answer a similar question for you, Krishna. Anyone over here putting, okay, good. So let me move further into the parts, single question over here, so no big questions. So let me enter. Let me first quickly tell you what our Hadoop. Hadoop is a third-party software client which is managed. It's not from Informatica. So So let me first make you very, very clear. Hadoop is a data source and push-down processing to Hadoop cluster, that is for BDM. Hadoop could be an HDFS, that is high-performance access file across the cluster. It is a Hadoop distributed file system. Hadoop is a data warehouse that connect to HDFS and uses SQL-like queries. And Yan manages the Hadoop cluster efficiently, and NoSQL databases such as MongoDB and Cassandra are the databases which are largely responsible for all kind of operations. So that's they are third party. So let me make it very, very clear to you that it's not it's not something which is distributed from Informatica. There's a question which was asked by one participant. Also, this into the layers part of it very quickly. That how does Informatica works? So quickly, just to inform you that Informatica Big Data Management Edition do not work with the open source Apache Hadoop. So we need some distributed version of Apache Hadoop. So it is very, very categorically clear you either need a Cloudera and Hortonworks and Mapper as a third-party application. The job in the case of Hadoop Connect Hadoop from PDM. So other important consideration here is that we are asking you to Informatica Big Data Management. That's like that because Hadoop requires a lot of hand coding. So you need to write MapReduce programs to transform the data. And there's a lack of transparency and auditability over the development task into the Hadoop. Do not manage any kind of data management. And to do data standardization and to reuse these mappings is a big challenge. Hadoop system consists of different elements like morning cluster, maintaining, configuring, and it does not have predefined rules for data quality and governance. So these are the few challenges which D is already facing as far as Hadoop is considered. I came across one of the very interesting challenges where there was a team which was working on ETL and they want to implement the solution onto the Hadoop. A challenge for that team was a very interesting challenge. Thinking that whether they should migrate their people onto Hadoop or many people who know Informatica should be able to read and write into Hadoop without much knowledge of Hadoop. So Informatica offers you such kind of a solution. So where you have already existing infrastructure of Informatica with you. Informatica structure is already in place and there will be a very, very introduction to the product, maybe a little knowledge onto the product, a small training of 3 to 4 days, get your entire team to migrate onto the Hadoop. So the is done. Chinmay, you are audible. Any question here? Being on mute. So we have it over here. So that's important consideration about Hadoop. So what we do. Informatica benefit is that you can reuse your existing assets and scale. The people who are already writing an integration logic and the same logic can be now used to data to and fro from Hadoop. Then reuse your rules to validate. So you do not need to write your rules, new rules. It is designed once, deploy anywhere, and we will do the Informatica managed data lake for the governance purposes. I worry about frequency of new versions in Hadoop. To place a wrong bet onto the wrong technology, guarantee you that will offer you a predictable, repeatable deployments and methodology. So that's how the Informatica mapping guarantee you. There will be change into the technology, let Informatica take care of those changes. And you need to worry about those changes. So that is going to happen fast, and as far as Informatica is. So this is for the PowerCenter lovers. So what we have over here is a PowerCenter. So those guys who still have a love for PowerCenter. this is how typically PowerCenter guys will be more than happy to learn about it. So what we have over here is we have a mapping. So this mapping is being created. Wow. A typical way to create a mapping, then you create a Hadoop connection. Now this is a Hadoop connection. So we will create a quick Hadoop connection over here. So this is what we call as, in a simple term, Power Exchange for Hadoop. Connector in BDM will give you a connector for Power Exchange for Hadoop. This Power Exchange for Hadoop is capable of reading and writing the data into IFS. So we have a Hadoop connection over here to create a Power Exchange connector into a workflow manager. You configure a workflow to run against this connection, and you can job. That's the most wonderful part of PowerCenter. So PowerCenter has this much of capability only. The PowerCenter can read and write into Hadoop, and the PowerCenter also allows you to on tables. So that's only the capacity of PowerCenter. Come down to a very simple term. PC is capable of what PowerCenter is in the capacity. The center is in the capacity to read write IFS. So you can read and write into HDFS. Arrays you can only you can read into Hive tables. You only write into Hive tables to do that. So we don't offer anything more into the PowerCenter. Center has this much of capability only. So, and this is done with the help of what we call as a power adapter. We got a Power Exchange adapter over here. Exchange adapter is in capacity to do the job. Exchange adapter. So with the Informatica BDM, so the adapter is available to you, and using this adapter you can do HDFS. So that's how it works. That's the only capacity of the PowerCenter. So it can write to Hive table, but it cannot read from Hive tables. PowerCenter cannot read from Hive table. So that's the little set of PowerCenter, but this is how the PowerCenter looks like. That's a good time to pause over here. So any questions here, please? The PowerCenter has this much capacity only. You can read and write from HDFS, and you can write to Hive table. You cannot even read from Hive table. Yes, and so this is typically for the PowerCenter guys. So this much is possible into PowerCenter. You could be on audio, or you could be onto the chat for the question if it is there. Okay, so there's a question from so it says that where Informatica is suitable and where Informatica is not suitable, and also does stack up with other ETL2 such as data state. Can I take this question tomorrow when I speak about PowerCenter? Because a lot of BDM session, and in BDM session I have to not speak about the BDM part of it. Talk about the Informatica space where we are into the leaders and how does we stack up with the ETL2 like data stage from IBM or SSIS, SSS from Microsoft, or if talk about in this space. I'll take this question tomorrow. If you are joining me, I'll Hive property, is it in the session or a workflow level? It's a session level, please. As you can see over here, so this is at a session level. Whenever you pick a Hadoop part over here, so you can do it from there. Maybe if I can show you a quick on the top of it. So it's like this. So you open up PowerCenter over here. So let me see how good I could be for you. A, B, C, D. Okay, so so where is my Informatica? So let me see if I have Informatica already with me. So place we got. So we got developer client. We got data designer. So let me see if I can quickly do a quick down to it. what is the capacity of a PowerCenter. So it's okay over here. So let me go into the work manager. So that's a place where we expect you to create a connection share. You will be expected to connect to your repository. Let's see if I can do quickly for you some kind of a over here. So that's a PowerCenter. So okay, it doesn't matter. So we got that have a workflow. So there's a how to connect to Hive HDFS. We do not need any plugin to be added to PowerCenter. So we need plugins. So I told you that what we do is we offer you over here the adapters. So this is an adapter for Exchange. So we give you a Exchange adapter for Hadoop. So you can see over here. So what you need to do is you need to create a new Exchange adapter for Hadoop. So that comes over here. So Hadoop HDFS connections here. Connect to Hive HD, the plugin, which is not the plugin. So we don't call it a plugin. It's a adapter. It's a Exchange adapter which comes under the application connection browsing. So you application connection browser. So you create a Hadoop connection. So typical Hadoop connection look like this. It's about the connection URI. It talks about the port number. Once you make this over here, this connection is here. Do you need to install BDS on each Hadoop node? That Informatica will take care of the same. So we do not call BDS. Okay, so I do not understand that from Pune we got a question called BDS. Probably you're talking about big service. You take it out. So you do not need to install BDS or kind of a service, but you need to install few of the components onto Hadoop nodes manually. So it's not manually was a very bad word over here. So it's more like a So BDM components. The components needs to be installed on each data node. One type of thing. So I'll tell you that what you're going to put into the BDM, but yes, on each Hadoop node, slave you will be expected to put in big data components. So when I move to the slide side, I'll show you that each BDM components need to be installed. But you can automate this process, so it's not very complicated process. It's like few of our files which are important. So it's easy. It's not very complicated, but yes, we need to do that. Okay. So once you have this over here, what you're going to do is over here, you're going to make typically when you make so that's how it looks like. That's once you So we go back and you make your workflow over here. So let me take it an example. So you made it over here. This is how you typically make your working PowerCenter. So you go over here. What you can do over here in the mapping part. So this is the mapping tab. This is your LA customer. Instead of file reader, you just say that I don't want it to be like an HDFS. So this is over here. You will be expected to put a connection over here. That Hadoop connection will be available. And this is the place where you're going to speak about the things which are related to. So this is your source to talk about. Similarly, if you go into the target over here, so the target is changed Hadoop file system. So Hadoop file system is a target, and the Hadoop connection over here. So we offer you over here the place where with the options to generate the Hive tables. So that's how it looks like into it. So into the capacity. So you cannot read from Hive. So back onto the source side. So on the side we don't offer you anything into what you call as Hive. Give you anything which is relevant to the Hive. So therefore you can read it from Hadoop. So reading from Hadoop, you have to just give the file path over here. So file path we can read from Hadoop, and writing. Write to Hadoop, so we can go over here and we can say what. So the file path will be Hadoop. So what do you do? So place, or you can give the Hive table information, or this is your output file path with us. How it looks into the PowerCenter side of it. Okay. Wow. So that was a quick. So. Do you need any plugin? Yes, definitely no plugin. So it's a Power Exchange adapter. So this is an application type of Power Exchange adapter which is being offered with BDM. So our BDM server, you will have this Power Exchange adapter for Hadoop. So PowerCenter does not have anything beyond this capacity to go about it. Wow. There was a quick question over here. So if I take a quick back to one of my slides, you need to put BDM onto each data node. So that's how it looked like. So you have to put some small installer has to be run onto each data node for BDM purpose. Wow. Good. Wow. This comes the next part. It's very, very loud. Yeah, any question, please, sir? You are welcome. And so you are on the telling. Do you have any question there? So I'm continuing with the next part is processing the Hadoop using developer tool. What we offer you here is something very, very interesting. That what we do is that you have a mapping onto a developer tool. A typical mapping that you do. What we can do over here is we can convert your entire mapping into the equivalent high query language. All days we will pick your mapping and your entire mapping will be translated into high query language. We use optimize the high query converter to manage and submit the job to the cluster. And advanced mapping transformation is executed on Hadoop using the defined function using the technology called a wipe technology. So use a wipe, and using a wipe, what we do is we convert your entire mapping into one. The developer tool has a very good capacity into running your mapping into a push-down mode. That's the capacity of the developer tool. So what in the developer tool over here is just a quick graphical representation that was in the capacity of the developer tool for your knowledge. What we do in the developer tool is that, so let's put it in a very simple fashion. So the developer tool over here. What we offer you here is a developer tool, and in this developer tool, you create a mapping. So mapping, comes with a Hadoop driver. So that's an interesting question. PowerCenter 10 comes with a Hadoop driver. So the answer is, there's a question from our early team which asks us that does PowerCenter comes with Hadoop driver? So Power 10 doesn't come with Hadoop driver. So let me put it that if you buy an Informatica Big Data Management license, you'll get the Power Exchange adapter for Hadoop. So right. So the book comes with an adapter to Hadoop. So that's the Power Exchange adapter for Hadoop. So it's a BDM version. So if you buy, so there's a separate license for Informatica Big Data Edition. PowerCenter 10 is a separate license, and Big Data Edition is a separate license in this case for whatever as a Hadoop driver. Okay. So now it's a license-based information with us. Object required to create a Hadoop connection in center. So from Pune, Shivaji Nagar, there was a question. Object requires to create. So what are the objects required? Can you be more clear onto your question? I didn't understand it. So if you talk about what are the object required to create a Hadoop connection, so I just need is name node URL. So I just need your name node URL and I need your Hive layer connection. That's it. So anything else. I showed you over there. So let's give you a quick glimpse back into it. To get a connection, what I need is the name of the URL. So it's a easy one. Current application. So if I go and say connections, it's very tedious. You need some objects. It's very simple. So what you need over here is a quick SFS connection URI. So this is your URI for node. So the node URI. So it is HDFS / name node with the port node and the Hive driver URL and their username and the password. So very, very complicated objects you need. The adapter is in place. It can be created in a second. This is something big which you need. Okay. So there's something I kind of just making center away from here. Okay. So is Shivaji Nagar is okay with you, or you want to put some more light into it? So that's how object requires. So name node URL. So name node URL is typically coming from your Hadoop cluster. So your Hadoop cluster can easily give you the name node URI to work with. So use your organization data. Thank you much for confirming. So what developer client offers us? That's a very interesting part. That's something which the people are dying to know. That is Informatica Big Data Edition. So Informatica Big Data Edition, under the mapping category, what we do is that we offer you to run this mapping on. So that's what we speak about it. Mapping can run on native mode. Native mode means against your DIS, data integration service, like you normally run a mapping. So on to DIS. And part what we do is we call it that it runs in a high mode. So there are two modes in which you can run in a high. Now the mode is what we call as a push down mode. So the modes over here. So high mode, and what we call over here is the mode. So I'm making two modes. So native means it will run in under the DIS, and the push down means that your mapping will be mapping will be converted, and converted it will that's what we call as a running on a high mode. So running on a native mode, it will run on a Hadoop cluster. So that we need to think about. So it will be running on a Hadoop cluster. Okay, so that's look like that is what we call high push down. So convert it and run onto the Hadoop cluster to do the job. So let me put it in a very, very comprehensive fashion over here. So if you see over here that reading this file, there's a mapping in front of you. So what we do is we convert this entire mapping into equivalent Hive query language, and it's not necessary over here that your entire mapping will have should be having a Hadoop sources. So there's a question, so Hadoop like into it. So there's a very, very interesting question. So let me put it like this. So I think from a flat file, some expression transformation over here. Let me put it in a very, very easy fashion. And where we got it over here, we got some over here. I'll get over here, and target is the question is being asked into this fashion. So let me try to answer in a very simple. So it's a very typical mapping, reading from a flat file and to a target, which is Oracle. So what we do over here is that we work onto it. So file expression aggregator and target is Oracle. We are running this mapping onto a native mode. Typical mapping onto a native mode. There's no big deal what I've heard Peter said. So running on this native mode, now what you can do is you can change this mode that we do not want to run it on a native, but we want to run it on a Hive mode. So there is you can run this mapping into Hive mode. So what Informatica does that the flat file is first push to HDFS. So it pushed to HDFS, and this one is converted into Hive query language. So first into Hive query language, and this aggregator will be converted into a Hive query language. And data will be written into a Hive table. So data will be written into Hive table. And Hive table back to the Oracle. So it's done. So we do not necessarily require, so that when we talk about a push down, so the point doesn't mean that your sources and targets should be always paste sources and targets. So even if your flat file or even if your RDBMS is there, so you convert your equivalent running a mapping which is running on a native and on the Hive mode itself. You convert your entire multi-tenant high query language, and we went to the Hadoop cluster. So that's what was shown into the slide. So there's a question over here, and there's a request to the team. So whenever you're asking a question, don't ask it privately. Ask it to make it visible to everyone. It is converted into, so data is converted into equivalent Hive tables. So we always convert it into a temporary Hive table. So HDFS will be converted into a Hive table over here. Sure. So table is there for us to do this job. So it will be converted into Hive file converted into HDFS. So it's a very simple. So it's not a very big deal to convert a flat file into HDFS. It's Informatica adapter to push the data. It's common. So typically, if you know Hadoop, call it a put command. So we use a put command to push the data from flat into HDFS. So it becomes a row column file for us. Flat file is a simple file which will not be converted into Hadoop file. It remains a flat file. It's an easy part over here to do. Nothing big. So it's about converted. It's about pushing the file into Hadoop file system. So it is pushed into Hadoop file system. It remains as a flat file over there also. So it's noted. Hadoop is a file system where the data will be pushed for you. From Hadoop file system, we create a temp Hive table. And the temporary Hive tables, we generate Hive queries to do the job first. So that's how we work on to it. So file remains as a flat file. The storage becomes HDFS for you. We put the file into HDFS. From HDFS, we make temporary Hive tables. On the Hive tables, we keep on writing the Hive query languages on the top of it. And each expression we may have one memory. So for each query language, we make one or more just to do the job. How it works for us. Okay. Necessarily, we should have the sources as a flat file. So we should have a Hadoop sources. We can have normal sources. Definitely, we will be really excellent if you have a source as a Hive. So if it is a Hive, then you have something called excellent. Then you got over here, got Gator, and your target is a Hive. Then can be pushed into Hadoop. You got some called HBase. So HBase and HBase to expression and expression to aggregator to do that. Sure. Two questions over here quickly. That is it necessary to create temp Hive table? It is taken care by Informatica. So you need to worry about it. That's internally Informatica takes care of it. But that was only the architectural knowledge for you. That normally Informatica creates tables. So internally Informatica automatically creates temporary Hive tables to do the job. Now idea is to tell you that to do that. So Hive tables are internal to Informatica. You don't have to worry about it. The question is, will there be any change on existing mapping and workflow if you want to run them on Hive mode? Team array condition applies. So that is the next what we are going to speak about. That we support most of the mapping which most of our existing mappings are done on Hive mode, especially if you are using the Blaze engine. But using Informatica Blaze engine, then we have some restrictions on the top of it. Okay. So we push this flat file into normal table or only to external table. So I think so when we talk about the normal or external table is basically Kote is asking from the perspective of Hive. Because we have a concept of external tables into Hive, so we don't mind it. It could be external table, it could be a normal table. We don't do it, so it could be on any of the table. So we only understand the Hive drivers over here. The Hive drivers is compatible to both external and the normal tables. So it's a responsibility of the Hive to manage the data, not of Informatica to do that. So Informatica cache the data into that part. How can come to know about the table name of the Hive table created by Informatica for a particular set of data? So the temporary tables, so when we talk about temporary tables, so there will be a table which will be removed by the end of the session. In case you want to know those tables which are created by Informatica So what it is that we give you the high query section. One can do is with the monitoring tab. Under the monitoring, you can monitor the tables which are created, temporary tables which are created. And also what we do is, if you see over here in my slide, so here that we give you the symbol here that what are the temporary tables we are creating over here. So that we even watch before execution. So before execution, we can out with the query that we are going to perform onto the Hadoop cluster. So they very well manage very much into the hand. You cannot change the table names, but you can very well map, very well know what the names of the table created by Informatica. They are temporary tables, but the session, the moment the session finishes, the table are removed. When we perform joins in BDM, we have to have a joins in BDM. Mind, so what do you mean by particularly right joins and the joins? So joins you have in Hive, we offer you all the types of joins in Informatica. So whatever the joins are there, the BDM supports because of good capacity of the joins. So there's so now Kotesh, what do you mean by a particular right join? So it's not something very, very big one. So proper question would have been a little challenging for me. We're asking for joins is non-equal joins. Both by actually Bhatia engine and both by Hive engine. Even the Informatica Blaze is in that there is capacity to perform any kind of joins, shape joins. And on your full 4 days course with us, we actually put a lot of emphasis on the joins, how this can be done on Informatica. Okay. And again, request whenever you push a question, please shoot for everyone, not for private. And you can. So any other question here, please? I can move to the next part of the program.
So I said earlier that you can't actually some Hive tables.
It's about PowerCenter. If you see over here that we have moved into the next tool called the developer tool. The PowerCenter cannot reach it. PowerCenter cannot even push the mapping onto the Hadoop. So as the beginning we told you that the larger capacity we are building to the developer client. So the client can read and write into Hive. The can run your mapping into a native node, and the can run a mapping into a push-down Hive node. So that's it. Thank you very much for bringing. That's actually a very excellent question that was being put by the participant. So I was there from Bangalore, but here we are talking about a client called a developer client. So the client has a more capacity to speak about it. Good. Since what this to my notice, it's a good time. So why should not have to show you something about developer client? So capacity of the development. That is one of the reasons that so PowerCenter does not have capacity, so we expect you to do a code migration and ingestion. So that's one we are going to speak about it very quickly. So it also created with 10th Hive table by Informatica. For example, total table have constraints. Her Hive table doesn't have constraints. So we only move in the table with the so even don't send question privately, send it to everyone. If they have constraint also created while time have so Hive table does not have constraints. So as I told you, so let me put it into a very simple fashion for you. So again, it's a simple question. So this source, Teradata as a target. So let me put it like this: Teradata as a data source for the spelling. So I say Teradata as a target. So let me put it like this. So you got some ETL in between. You are having a lot of transformations in between and in some kind of data quality and doing. So what is this Oracle table is converted into Hive table here. Typically data. So data will be converted over here. And your constraint is not even taken care by Informatica as a ETL. So Informatica doesn't take ETL as a constraint over here. So what we do is we do all the table, we do all the HPL over here, and we again write back into a Hive table. Right? This Hive table writes the data back into the data. Writes back over here. So that data will take care of the constraint in that case. That's how it looked like. So does not have constraints. So that's a question more related to Hadoop, not to the Informatica. So even Informatica PowerCenter or developer doesn't have a concept of one. The question which was asked, is it a constraint also created into temp height table? Height table doesn't have one. So this is RDBMS context over here. Okay, but since this question is being asked, we got something called as HBase, like as NoSQL databases. So we said if you have such kind of a structure, you should use NoSQL databases, work like a database kind of thing. It is not a database, it's a query language on the top of it. That means that you should do such courses. So what we do is that a very interesting question which came from Banner. Since there are a lot of issues in PowerCenter, so we should not call it an issue, that is very less capacity into a PowerCenter. So what we over here is that we suggest you that what you can do is you can pick up all the PowerCenter mappings. So whatever the PowerCenter mappings you have, and what you can do is you can make a report out of it. So on the top of it, and using this report, you can see that what are the mappings which are being converted into compatible. So you can check for the Hadoop compatibility. So the PowerCenter mappings are already there with you, and you would like it to view. Hadoop. As another question, this is all mappings will be compatible with the Hadoop. So it's not necessary that all will be compatible with Hadoop. We suggest you over here that you can create and interpret a report before to check whether this mapping is compatible to them. The second way is that you can import the PowerCenter mappings to the developer client also. So we are taken care of. And we also offer you a scoop connector that is SQL to Hadoop. So we give you a powerful connector. So there was a lot of question about coming into the Hadoop. So what we have here is, so we have a scoop connectors with us, and we describe the SQL to mapping capability also. What we do is we ask you to get a SQL. So even if you give us SQL, we can generate Informatica mapping. So a couple of capabilities of Informatica. So what we suggest you over here is that we do a command line utility over here, and that command line utility is for PowerCenter. Using this PowerCenter is like this, that mapping can be checked for whether it can be implemented onto Hadoop or not. So that's the first. So it's a future proof. Anything which exists can be import and export utilities there. So we will check it. What you can do. So you can use the report utility. Then we also offer you import and export utility. When we say import and export utility, this means PowerCenter mapping can be imported into developer client. Developer mapping can go into the PowerCenter client. So the import and export utility is there. So what we suggest you over here that you can generate a report, and there's a command line activity which generates a report for you. And we give you a PDF, we give you an HTML, and we give you a CSV kind of information. And once you generate the report, so the data can be watched. And the other thing that we offer you over here is a PowerCenter classic import. So offer you an opportunity to import the data from PowerCenter into the developer. This data comes into the developer. Mapping can be executed into Hadoop, that is Hive, push the nodes. That's possible with us. That's how. So what we do is we suggest you first to generate a report, and when you generate a report, we give you the statistics that how many ports are capable to be converted in run into Hadoop environment, and what are the reports which are not capable of. And whenever you do a PowerCenter import, so when you are importing from classical PowerCenter to developer client, so there is over here, we offer you over here an option called check conversion. So give you a place to check the conversions. You can check the conversions over here. So check the conversion and we will give you the errors. So what cannot be converted from Informatica classical PowerCenter into the developer client. So that can be also into care. So that's a beautiful one. Scoop. Just to have a little knowledge about Informatica and Hadoop. Scoop, the concept of Hadoop. So Informatica has a powered with Scoop every day that We can use scoop drive instead of RDBMS drivers now. So Informatica supports scoop drivers. So scoop drivers are much faster than typical RDBMS drivers. So reading and writing into Hadoop, Informatica also offers the scoop drivers. So you will have a benefit of a scoop in Informatica. So you are allowed to use parallel data transfer for fast performance and optimal system utilization. We include connectivity information via JDBC. Do not need a separate RDBMS drivers and configuration files on each node. Operating any RDBMS drivers across all the nodes is difficult. Only one jar file that is to be copied on each machine in the cluster. And that file will automatically copied and deleted as needed. So we have very, very good support for scoop. Nowadays we can use scoop for moving the data into that's a beautiful part of it. So Informatica version 10.1 in the capacity. So version 10 is having the capacity to speak with Hadoop also, with scoop also. So we use a typical scoop to do it. So there was another question was there. So every time to install anything onto the Hadoop cluster, the answer is yes. There's a scoop jar file, so you need to copy the scoop jar file onto Hadoop cluster. A scoop in the RDBMS connector, that is what typically we speak in Hadoop context. So Hadoop context, the scoop is a SL connector for Hadoop. So if you put only a Hadoop scoop jar for data nodes, you need to copy a separate Hadoop, separate JDBC drivers for database. This is where we need capacity to but from any RDBMS into Hadoop and from any for Hive table back into RDBMS can be done with the scoop architecture. We use scoop drivers built in with the Hadoop with Informatica. So only MapReduce mode supported is 10.1, and in native mode we automatically switch to JDBC mode if you are using a sector. You can disable scoop on the data object in mapping. Informatica will not show any monitoring statistics of row counts for scoop connectors. You need data director drivers for metadata import and vendor drivers for runtime. And you need a separate license bit for scoop. So I've exchanged for scoop in the connection section. And that only contains the path where the jars are temporarily copied in the class of scoop. So that scoop is much faster than a normal disk driver. So that is for your information that 10.1 is what we support is a good part of scoop. The thing that we quickly offer you over here is what we call STL2 mapping. So that's what we talk about here. Bring any STL to us and we can translate this STL2 mapping. So you can see over here, select some revenue from. So red color shows you the join key and the yellow color shows you the where clause into the filter. Blue color shows you the group by clause by the part name. That can be very, very easy. Oops, my group by is gone somewhere left, doesn't matter. But yes, bring any ANSI statement to us and we will generate a mapping for you. So very interesting thing that we offer you over here. Mapping converter. So you bring any SQL, ANSI SQL and we do it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you, in case you bring any of the function which is non-ANSI function, typical on the top of it, that is not a correctly treated translation for you. Good. So this looks like, so it's demo time, but I'm very with time over here. Next 20 minutes, I would like to spend more onto the third, so I'll stop. I'll not do a demo over here. Maybe at the end of the session, we'll look for demo. Any issues here, otherwise we'll move to the next part about the Informatica polyglot computing on Hadoop. So that's a very interesting thing I have to teach you. Any chair, please. Wow. We appreciate it here. The number of questions here. Sir. I'm disconnected. Sir. That's very interesting part here. Declare client. So this is the client which is in the capacity to do the job for us. Let me put it like for you. Wow. So writing a question to me in case you have any questions. So this is my next client, that's a developer client, which has the capacity to speak about it. So let me log into this client to show capacity into it. So this is my client which works on the BDM part. So we went over here. So we got a lot of mappings over here, which is available here. Wow. So let me show you the capacity of this client. So we went into Windows, we went into the preferences, we do Informatica and the connections. So it is not fun to watch over here that we got a lovely types of connections over here. The connection to the NoSQL databases like Express. Third, the connection to the file system like Hadoop distributed file system. Support the connections to databases, and the Hive is one of the database with us. We got a Hive as a database connection with us, so we can read and write into Hadoop Hive with the Hadoop cluster. So this is the Hadoop cluster, and we give the connection to Hadoop cluster. So the Hadoop cluster connection means a YARN connection. So you can use those to do the job. So we have a lot of variety of connections over here. So JDBC connections for the scoop also. So we offer you a lot of JDBC connections also. That's a lovely part of it. So available connections are there with us. You can create different types of connections over here into the connections one. So like a typical Hadoop file system connection consists of this information. On the name node URI. So that's simple. What is the name of the username for Hadoop? And this over here is here, so to do the job. So we can do it in this particular fashion. So name a user to do the job, and how does it? So can we get the slides for this presentation? Sorry, it's a copyrighted material. So Ravi, I will be not in position to share. But we'll appreciate if you do a course with us. We offer you a student manual, which is having a lot of information about this month. But you can visit our website www.informatica.com, Informatica.com. Some free downloadables are available, which you can get it through a site. But I'm sorry on yes that this time I can't share these slides with you because it's an official curriculum slides which I am sharing with you as a part of training. So we're here. What we do over here is, let me try to do something very interesting. So right click over here and I say import from PowerCenter. Oh, wonderful, sir. Just let me click host name. Oh, that's an interesting word for me. Just the host name. The host name is little one for me to get over here, sir. Let me see if I can get the host name very, very quickly over here. So I'm going to pick it up. So host name is the quickly talk about over here. So I got it over PSVR. Okay, PSVR 530DMN. Sorry, it's a little difficult name too. So that's the name of my port. And the PowerCenter repository is of version 10.1. Authentication type is native. The user ID I'm going to use over here is administrator. So let me check if I have. Oops, I have not administrator. So administrator, and we got same as a password. Administrator. Let me give the repository name, that is PCRS_. And let me test the connection. So I always love doing this part. So a good one to be, then I say next over here. So I connected to the repository over here. So to do some more ideas on the top of it. So it's getting the folders. So I'm going to bring the data from PowerCenter. Got over here the different types of repository which is available. So these are the folders which are available to us. So we expected that we will be first checking the report that this is possible or So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into CDI. I'm going to bring a mapping. It is getting a mapping for us. Quickly, let me show you the part over here. So quick mapping with the name called CDR detailed records, and we move it to the next part over here. It was asking me for locations. So I said I want to put on to location that is user 1. I don't mind it putting in U1. And what you would like to do with the name of the project. So I said, put it to the object in the target, and I say next over here. So it will put the dependencies and and we go into the next. So connection name for the source over here. So some connection name information if you want to do over here. Find those connection names over here. So we were just keeping it like it. So there's and we say next over here, and we can check the conversion. So we can see that whether it is being done into it or not. So over here, we give you the answer over here that how does it look like. So we're doing the PowerCenter mapping into the developer tool. And this map will try to run it both on a high mode and a native mode. That's an idea. So over here, so let's converting into it. So we can convert a PowerCenter object. So because PowerCenter does not have that much of capacity, that's what we would like to show you. And the concept is called polyglot. So, oh wow, that's wonderful. Let me go quickly back over here. So we give it some of the connection that is CH cluster will be the, so CDRWH. Sure. Circle one, so its circle connection is there required. So let me put the right connection for the source because our actual connection was required. Then I can say finish over here. So I'm putting so I just put the right connection. So my idea was so should be a good connection. So I just get the right connection for me. So we're putting objects into the PowerCenter with the job. So we got so we imported the mapping into the PowerCenter. Quickly job. So let it be move into it. What we do over here is that we can offer you over here. We can offer you to run this mapping into a Hive mode, or we can run this mapping into a Blaze mode, we can run this mapping into a Spark mode, we can run this mapping into a native, and run into a smart executor. And what we talk about it. So the mapping can now run the one which I imported from past. So this is the mapping which is available. So various options over here, and the best one will give you the smart executor. Let's decide for you. So let decide for you. So here Info take a decision for you. So let Informatica decide for you. That's a lovely part over here. So it knows that what is possible in Hive, what is possible in Blaze, what is possible in Spark. Yes. So there's a constraint limitation that some of the mappings can run on Hive, or runs on Spark, or runs on Blaze. Native runs on native, but they do not run, everything doesn't run on Hive. So let Informatica decide for you, so you can use smart executor in that particular. So this one what we do is we call it a Hive push down. So what we do in the Hive push down is that we got a Hive engine architecture where your entire mapping will be converted into an equivalent Hive query language that you're looking at. So we over here that your source data is converted into three Hive tables, and then your transformation is converted into complete Hive tables, and the target is again converted into complete Hive table. And each phase is described through multiple Hive scripts. So we run Hive scripts, and we use some user-defined functions, UDFs, and we use some Informatica binaries to convert these in the Hadoop push-down execution phase. That is what we call Hive on MapReduce. So on the Hive on MapReduce, we do this particular job. For each part, so there was a question, so on each part we will generate a script for you, and we will be in good position to tell you that what is the script for the mapping logic we are generating for you. So that the data integration, so when this mapping will be converted onto Hadoop, That would be the equivalent script will be generated for you. Blaze. So Blaze are very, very high performance cluster aware data integration engine on top of the yarn. So Blaze is Informatica code written on the top of the yarn to another mapping. So we typically say that any mapping which runs on BIOS is able to run on Blaze. Blaze has a high data processing performance with automatically good part over here. Must emphasize over here for you that what is capacity of our Blaze engine? That is automatic data pipelining, job partitioning, having the large concurrent workloads is a capacity of the Blaze. So, and to the Blaze engine. So if you use Informatica Blaze engine, you can do it using Informatica Blaze. So I have a request, can you go back to the last slide? The answer is yes. I'm in a black slide that is about Hive. Is that if you use a Hive mode, make your entire mapping logic into the equivalent Hive. So queries will be generated, some Hive commands and Hive queries will be generated. If you use Blaze, so what we're going to do is we are going to write a data transformation code or equivalent of map reduce code yarn itself. That's it, can't be done. So we got two of them over here. So Blaze. So Blaze is Informatica programming code onto the yarn. So which we use our own engine to do that particular job over here. That we call Informatica Blaze. See, in the Blaze, what we do is that we directly speak to the yarn node that is a resource manager, and we automatically divide into a grid manager, orchestra servers, application time servers, and Blaze job monitor is available. Take care of your all parts like pipelining, job partitioning, and scaling of the large concurrent workflows will be taken by Informatica. So whatever you call it as partitioning, and will be taken care by the Blaze engine. We also give you a Spark that is in memory. So LDM then translate this mapping into the Scala and use Scala programming language in the Spark. So we are mapping into a Scala code and we package it and send to the application to the Spark executor to the job. And so I guess the resource manager will be responsible for writing the Spark code. Lark is something which has actually taken the Hadoop by storm, and we are not away from it. What we do is we also offer you the Spark architecture. So we convert your mapping to workflow with transformation to the possible translations. And we do more of the unified data structure and we post the processing into, and then we package the jar files. So that's what we do. We do a native execution, and under the native execution, what we do is we run your mapping onto DIS. So you read and process data from large unstructured and semi-structured files. You can read data from Hive in DIS, and you read the data from social media's websites. You can run standalone mapping, or mapping as a part of any of the workflow that can be done in the native mode. So that's important. But lastly, we also use a smart executor. So what we do is we offer you over here is a smart executor where we let BigData management to choose whether he would love to run mapping onto Blaze, or whether it should run a mapping on Spark, whether it should run mapping on Hive on Page or Hive on MapReduce. Looking at your mapping structure, directly smart executor takes a decision that would like to run it on which of the will take so Informatica will take a call that which of the engine should I use to do that. Should your mapping use a Blaze engine? Should it use a Spark engine? Should it use a Hive engine to do that? That's a smart executor. So I'll show you over here how to do the job over here. So I'll come back to over here. So let me give over here a quick demo to you. So over here, so we got our mapping over here. So let's open this mapping for you. And the mapping has come, so this is the mapping. So it's a good mapping over here. So what we do over here is we go over mapping and we go into the runtime. So this is what we give you an offer. So see over here that when we see over here, this mapping is right now configured to run on native mode. So this mapping can run on native mode. So what I change is that I don't want to run it on native mode, but I want to run it on Hadoop mode. Now run it on a Hadoop mode, so you can. This is what we call as a smart executor. Smart executor. So we have select all of them. Hive, then we selected onto the Blaze, and we selected onto the Spark. So Informatica decides. So Informatica will decide over here that whether it will run which one. So you can do it over here. Or it could be days like this example is that. So we remove it over here. So we want to run it onto Hive. So that's a simple one. So you want to run it on a Hive. So this is one of the mapping which you want to run on a Hive. So the command is that if you want to run this mapping on a Hive, you right click over here and say validate over here. Tell you that whether it's a valid mapping, whether it's in the capacity to run it onto Hive or not. So that it is invalid mapping for you to run onto the node, and there's a challenge into it. So, okay. It cannot run and the connection information is missing. So I'll give some connection information, I don't mind. So we went into the connection information. Just make it capable for you. So we went into connection to browse some connection over here. So we got PDM cluster, and I said over here, okay, so I put it over here. I saved the mapping and I say again, example, BigData over here. So it no problem found. So this is good to run on Hadoop Hive mode. We go to data viewer and say show execution plan over here, just for your knowledge. This is running purely onto the Hive mode. So we are telling you that this mapping will be running into Hive mode, and this is what we do is that we have generated an equivalent query for you. That's what we are going to do over here. Is we are first going to get this file. After this file, what we are going to do is we are going to create some. So fetching of the file, we are going to create the temp table for you with this name. So we are going to convert the data according to whatever the functions that use. Make a number of tables for you to do the job. So we will tell you that this is what we are going to run on top of it. Okay, so that's one part. The machine part, you can decide that I want to run it only on Blaze engine. I don't want to run it on Hive engine. So on Blaze engine, so you say right click over here and say, so it means that this mapping is now in the good capacity to run on Blaze engine. So it is ready to run on Blaze engine. So if you go to data viewer and show execution plan over here, so execution plan, but we are going to generate a map with equivalent for you now. So another one is that what we can do is we can ask this mapping to run on Blaze, but to run not on native anymore, it's run on the Spark mode. So as it's running in the Spark mode, we need to supply it with the connection. We can give a connection name and we say update. So that's a validation part of it. So if Spark doesn't support it, so is that the SQL transformation consists of Spark engine does not support so Spark does not have capability. So that different engines have different capability to work with it. So engines does not have organizational sources, not possible with Spark. So running good on Hive because running good on Blaze does not run on Spark. So some of them only runs on Hive, some runs on Spark, some of them run on Blaze. Blaze is the technology to work about it. Right, and this is what we call as a smart executor. So you select all of them and here now, let's see. Check with warning. So it's with warning. That's a wonderful answer I got over here. So you see that it will not work on Spark, but it can be very good on Hive and so that's how it looks like into system. So yeah. System. Get on to the 12:30 p.m. Any questions? I'll give you 5 minutes to ask your questions, please. Right. So this is from this much for being a part of this. If you have any question, you're most welcome. Our instructor over here, his name is Harpreet Bhatia. I'm from Singh University. We are Informatica partners in India to deliver the program. We have Bangalore team and teams. I can suggest over here after the end of the session, you can ask these questions to she's my colleague. She asked these questions to me even after this. This is our beginning of the relationship. Where else possible, have any questions still, you're most welcome with this very to I'll be always there to answer these questions to you. I have a question from the three question says that how can you come to know that which should be used to select to Informatica, depending upon whatever programs you are using in other technology supported. What is the name of this interface? So this interface is called Informatica Developer Client. Okay. About simple, if mapping is a complex and have multiple transformation, do we require each time to correct conflict memory? Look at it like this answer to this. So there's a question from here. Over here. This seems to be there is a conflict. Do we need to then the answer is for each transformation, the answer is simply yes, but we have some main issues. And what the ways we can use these main issues to make the conflict resolved. But yes, these transformations need to resolve. If you are not very keen to do it, use the Blaze engine. Tell you that Blaze engine is the good capacity to do these particular jobs. So Blaze engine is in a capacity to run any of our mapping. With 1.1, you will not have many of the conflicts. But in the older versions, these conflicts are always there. But you can always, very well, you can always use this part. Sourcing the mapping, don't mind it. So even if you have a multiple sourcing mapping, welcome to be the care of the joins. So multiple sources will have joins, and those joins will be converted into equivalent type joins for us. Welcome. I expect you to join our promotion also to the PowerCenter and developer client. Please. Yes.
See, participants are asking if you can share the PPT with them or with me.
This is a copyright material, so I'll suggest you that if you need more information, what it is, I'll be not in position to share exact slides with you, but I'll download something which is publicly available, but it can be taken to care.
Also, if you can share it with Tanvi and select it from Tanvi.
I will do that. I'll do that.
Tomorrow we have the session at 10 o'clock, right?
Tomorrow again we have a session at 11 o'clock, please.
Able to share, join the call as well, because we are facing some issue in Tanvi and we are unable to connect on WebEx.
We can. And I'll do that. Can you send me this information to Tanvi? I'll pick that information from Tanvi.
Yes.
Yeah. So I end this session from here. If you have any other question, you are most welcome on the top of